What is up, everybody? It's JZ0896. Today I'm going to be ranking the top 10 NFL running backs of all time, so let's get into this. I put Marshall Faulk at number 10 because he was a great running back. He was a member of the Greatest Show on Turf, I think. I think he won the 99 Super Bowl with the Rams, but he was just, a solid running back, and he was, like, definition of solid. Like, that's how I would say I would put Marshall Faulk as a really solid running back, and I think he deserves to be at this number 10 spot. I really do. The Bus, Jerome Bettis, a Steeler for I think the majority of his career, maybe all of his career. I don't actually know how many Super Bowls he won. I'm pretty sure he had won some with he probably won some with the Steelers, but he was a great running back, and he was the bus, so he had to be able to do something. If your name's the bus, you got to carry the load if you're the bus. He was just the ninth spot. He's top 10 in like one of the stats, the rushing yards. I don't know, but I think 10's a good spot for him. Ninth, not 10th. Now Frank Gore is 8th because he's third all time in rushing yards. He's really like top 20, barely I think in rushing touchdowns, but he had a very long, sustained career. Played with like maybe some like I know he played with the 49ers, but I don't know what was he playing with. He was just a solid back. He had one of the most sustained careers of probably any running back in history, and that's what you get. 16,000 rushing yards. I think it was on the dot. He's good enough for third all time, so that's good enough for 8th on this list. Marcus Allen, and just to put this, perspective, in Madden 23, the Madden Legacy game, they have like the best players of all time from the AFC. Marcus Allen is the starting running back for the AFC Madden Legacy team, so he had to be good. I mean, he played with the Raiders his whole career. I do think he won a Super Bowl with the Raiders. And he's just, solid. He's a solid running back. I think he's top 10 in, again, either rushing distance or rushing yards. I don't know, but he was a very solid running back, and I think that's a good spot for him at number 7. Jim Brown, he's played in the old days, and he only played 9 seasons, I think, but he did a lot in his career. Has some pretty good runs if you go back and watch the tape. He has some pretty solid runs. He's was very, very fun running back to watch, and I think he's number one. He's 11th and 6th in rushing distance, rushing yards. I don't know which one, but if you can only play 9 seasons to do that, you have to be a great running back, and that's why he's 6th on my list. I feel like he was a great running back. Danian Tomlinson, the record holder for the most TDs by a single player in a season with 31. He really wasn't the most incredible running back in the world in terms of yards, but he was a great scorer, and he scored a ton of rushing touchdowns in his career. So, I think he was 7th in rushing yards and 2nd in rushing touchdowns. So, like, that's just crazy. I mean, he's a great player, obviously, and he did a lot in his career, and that's why he's 5th on my list. He's top 5. He's the starter of the top 5, and Danian Tomlinson was really good. He was a very good player. Number 4, obviously, is Adrian Peterson. I mean, he won MVP. There aren't many running backs who can say they won MVP. Yeah, the regular for the most rushing yards in a single game with 296. Like, that's insane to be able to rush for 296 yards in a game. That's a lot. That's a lot of rushing yards. And he's just very, 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 very top on the stats. I think he might be top 5 in rushing yards and rushing TDs. And he was a Viking for the majority of his career. Did switch teams towards the end, but he was a great player. So I mean, I don't know if he's officially retired yet, but if he hasn't, I really kind of want to see him back in action. I think he's retired. I don't know if he's retired, but I think he's probably close to retiring or whatever. But we'll see. Walter Payton. Now there's the top 3. It's kind of hard to place because I think on the majority of the top 3 is going to be Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, and Walter Payton. But I was looking at the stats, and Walter Payton, he's a great player, and he played for my Bears his whole career. So let's go Walter Payton. And he had some really good stats. I think he's actually 3rd in rushing yards. I don't know what he's 2nd in rushing yards. I don't know what he's in rushing touchdowns, but he had a very good career. And you know what? He's good enough. Top 3. He's gonna round out the top 3, and he's gonna start the top 3, and that's just where he's gonna go. Number 2 is Barry Sanders, and I was considering putting him number 1 because in just 9 seasons, he's 4th all-time in the rushing yards category, and that's unbelievable if you think about it. But obviously, I think it's pretty obvious that Emmitt Smith is number 1. He did a lot more in his career than Barry Sanders did, and I just feel like that would give him the added boost that he needed. Just the non playoff performance from Barry Sanders doesn't really give him any credit, unfortunately. But he's a great player, and he's second. There you have it. Number 1, Emmitt Smith. Number 1 rushing yards and rushing TDs. So essentially, you're going to be number 1 if you do that. He's just an insane player, and I think he was a Cowboy throughout his career. That's might have switched teams towards the end, but I don't know. He's a great player, and he did a lot enough in his career to be number 1. I feel like stats aren't enough. I feel like in a situation, he's number 1 in both rushing yards and rushing TDs. So yeah, he's number 1. Everybody, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will probably be ranking more NFL players soon, so you guys keep on the lookout for that, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.